Students, welcome to our ITEC ITEC channel. I would like to tell you one important news. Today we are going to upload one important video in our channel. Yesterday, the Department of Political Science and Public Education of ANDHRA University conducted an international seminar on democracy, diversity and change in India and Europe. The main key speakers of this seminar were, and the chief guest, Professor Sheetal Sharma from Jawaharlal Nehru University, and Professor K. Ravi, former professor of Andhra University, and Rajendra Prasad, and he is a former vice chancellor of Nagarjuna University. You will get very useful information. Please watch my ITEC channel for this program. Thank you. Thank you, one and all. Respected dignitaries on the dais and my student friends, first of all, thank you for the students for studying. Okay? Now, I would like to introduce today's chief guest and my former colleague and my family friend, Dr. Sheetal Sharma. She is associate professor in the Jawaharlal Nehru University and also the Center for European Studies. This is her biodata. In the chapterlo, in the biodata, okay. And only I will take only 2-3 minutes to introduce her. Suppose if I read out her biodata, it will take 45 minutes. Okay. Now, very briefly, Dr. Sheetal Sharma is a faculty of the Center for European Studies. Before joining JNU, she was a lecturer at the Institute of Technology and Management, Gurgaon, India, and taught the emergence of sociological theory in Europe and methodology of social sciences as a curriculum of degree program of the London School of Economics and Political Science. Dr. Sharma holds a BA Honours in Sociology, thanks to the power, from the Center for the Study of Social Systems, Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. Her research interests include gender and empowerment of women, gender and empowerment of women, social and cultural issues in contemporary Europe and India and their historical roots, multiculturalism and diversity, diaspora studies, and methodology of social sciences. She has been conferred the JNU Research Excellence Award. Just let us stop there. JNU Research Excellence Award for outstanding contribution and excellence in the field of social science and humanities for the year 2018 and 19 in the Young Scholars category. It has been selected on the prestigious European Union Visitors Program 2020. It is one of the prestigious. She is the only professor who got this certification from India. And Dr. Sharma evidently follows methodological and theoretical trends in social sciences and international relations and writes regularly on socially relevant issues in India and Europe for journals and magazines for national and international review. She is also interested in rights on issues relevant to education in India, particularly interested in and rights relevant to education in India, particularly higher education. She has completed a regional lecture series in sociology for CIET and NCRT. You know about NCRT. The project NROER, National Repository for Educational Resources and Training. She has also been invited as a discussion on several programs on radio and TV. She has presented papers at several national and international seminars and conferences. Dr. Sharma also successfully organized and participated in national and international seminars and lectures in various universities. She offers MPhil and PhD supervision in the broad areas of international relations, they focus on the social understanding of nature, structure, and dynamics of social and cultural institutions in Europe. He is a member of many organizations, committees, and boards, administrative and academic experience, and membership of committees in JNU, courses of teaching, publication of books. She has written books, 10 books at international level. They also edited 2 books. And the chapters in books, 15. Okay, but okay. Chapters and books 15.
I will tell myself.
No. Research papers and articles 53. And video lectures to NCRT. Her video lectures being being implemented by all schools in India. That is a prestigious video lecture for NCRT. PhDs graded 20, MPhils 22, papers and presentations and workshops. And I cannot read out the number of papers. These are the papers titles only. Finally, she is AI. What is AI? Artificial intelligence. But she is more than artificial intelligence. No. Let me complete. Sentence is not completed. AI is artificial intelligence. She is academic influencer in India. Academic influencer. That is AI. So she is more than artificial intelligence. Thank you, ma'am, for coming on our invitation. It is a prestige to the Department of Political Science and Comparative. Okay. Before she starts the speech, so please clap to her. Welcome in. By class. Thank you. Thank you.
Namaskaram to the backbenchers, all those. I understand the condition is not good, fit to sit, but thank you to your patience, even my patience, that I have been sitting through. I saw students using their fans and all the dignitaries, garus on the dais, people sitting here, not to make any mistake, not to break any heart, not to name anyone, but my pranamam to all of you to invite me here and with the kind of patience that you have demonstrated. I will take only few minutes, not more, because I understand that whatever I want to say in few minutes is good enough. No introduction is worth any number of pages unless I satisfy you in 5 or 10 minutes here. And that is going to be my introduction. Now, there are 3 things which are there in this title: democracy, diversity, and change, plus one more AI sir added in that. I will devote 2.5 minutes to each and then tell you how do we look at this. This is a group of political scientists. You are from Department of Political Science. I am a Samaj Shastri, a sociologist. How do I look at democracy, diversity, and change is slightly different from how do political scientists look at democracy, diversity, and change. Because out of these 3 concepts, democracy is studied by political scientists, diversity and change is studied by social scientists. So we will understand it like that.
Session, Professor Narasimha Garu, Head of the Department, Professor Premanandan Garu, respected Professor Ravi Garu, Madam Sheetal Sharma from JNU, New Delhi, and Mr. Anil Kumar, Employment Officer, Visakhapatnam. Dear friends and invitees, and also press, thank you for just making me to attend this particular session. And Professor Premanandan invited me to just address and also just participate in the meeting. I said I will participate. I can't speak. I am eager to hear this address of speech of Professor Ravi Garu. But he told me, sir, you talk on democracy and diversity. But I won't take much time to talk about this. But one thing I can share and say, this is a good thing just that has been identified to be the international seminar on democracy and diversity, for the reason just I state that, and in the recently concluded 12th World Forum for Democracy held in France, they also, deliberated on this particular thing, democracy and diversity. So how it is very important, because I want to draw your attention what happened very recently. What is the Sunita Williams just 2 days back. So when she attended the press meeting, she one of these, the reporters asked her, saying that just how India is from the space. What she answered by stating that India is very beautiful and also a great democracy. So India is not only beautiful in appearance, we can say it's wonderful in governance. That's very important. It's wonderful in governance because all the countries looking towards India just for some sort of the cooperation and also have some sort of an understanding with this economic understanding. With India. When you talk about the diversity and as far as the institution is concerned, democracy, whether it is a good or just necessary, these are some of the questions answered by the great philosophers. When you see about, of course, this is not much relevant to talk about at this platform, but I want to tell you what Plato and Aristotle talk about the democracy, but they have their own opinions. But their own philosophy and their own reasons also to say about whether democracy is, as an institute necessary. In the civil societies. But we can say we are also aware of the fact that democracy is nothing but basing on the rule of majority, nothing else. So the issue is about the majority rule can be acceptable, but there is no other way for the civil society at present. Only democracy is only the suitable institution and acceptable institution worldwide. So because simply talking about democracy, and we are also aware of many just definitions and the popular layman's perspective, what has been said, the democracy of the people, for the people, and by the people. So here we see the rule of the people through representatives. But issues, there are many issues. Because when you refer the democratic institution in the light of this diversity issues, and we are also aware of the fact that we are living not only in the globalized world but also in the diversified world, because diversified in many sectors, diverse way of living and cultural differences, regional differences, whatever it may be, how to overcome the short is some sort of big issue that is there before the policymakers. So as far as India concerned, just we are just only in the constitution, the preamble. So I just only stated that we just this is India is nothing but some sort of a democratic institutions. It is also highlighted by these many nations by the Supreme Court of India, especially with the Kesavan and the Bharati, where it is said this preamble and also what has been stated in the preamble forms some sort of basic structure of the constitutions. So when you come to the realities, because what we say law in the books is different from the law in the action. Law in the action is different from law in the books. When you see actual ground realities, things are very different. But one thing, whatever the differences we have, what are the divisions we have, just we are the people work together, and also we have some sort of the spirit of nationalism that is very important. We have just only we just only have this spirit of nationalism to just work together, and it also totally realized. And without unity, we can't survive, we can't progress. So that is very important because we send a message to all the civil societies, and the issue is about how to overcome, because we also aware of the problems which have. There will be some sort of the regional, as I mentioned about these cultural differences, geographical, that of course the regional differences. So how to overcome all these issues? Only one thing is just we have to march towards progress with some sort of unity in spite of the differences or the diverse situations we face. That is only the solution for that. But just mainly, that by having some sort of greater awareness will overcome these issues. But what personally say, when we unite ourselves, only the cause that unite only the regions, the countries, and the world. Just yeah. In total, the nations in total for the reason the cause. We also witnessed, the pandemic where all the people, just related them. That's why what I wanted to say, only the cause, not maybe the economic cause, or maybe some political cause, whatever may be the development cause, whatever may be the economic, whatever may be the cause, social cause, whatever the cause, just only that is only the cause that will unite the societies and also unite the nations and in the diverse, because there is no option for us just to live. Just we can't live in isolation. We have to live in the society. We are not living in the deserts. What has been stated, we are living in the society. Naturally, the differences will crop up, and the nations are also exception to this phenomenon. So that's why forcibly, without any option. We have to live in the diversified world, and only the thing that is before us just only to overcome that. I hope this seminar will find some sort of solution to that direction. So, thank you for giving the opportunity to share some of my views on this. Thank you, Wanda. Thank you.
Very hearty good morning to all of you. చెమటలు పడితే ఇప్పుడు ఫ్యూచర్లో చెమటలు పడటం ఉన్నారు కదా, అది ఎలా ఉన్నా మాట్లాడడానికి అందరికీ కూడా ఇక్కడ ఉన్న వాళ్ళ బట్టి ఎంతమంది మాట్లాడిన వాళ్ళని చూసిన తర్వాత చెమటలు పట్టిస్తున్నారు. సో ఫస్ట్ మై థ్యాంక్స్ టు ది Honorable Vice Chancellor Rajsekhar Garu, to the head of the department Premanandam for inviting me, Sri Narasimha Rao Garu, the principal of the Arts College, who is doing exceptional work in trying to rebuild the Arts College and its prestige, and Rajan Prasad Garu, my friend and an excellent human being, and he was also the principal of the Law College and Vice Chancellor of Nagarjuna University. And then Anil Kumar Garu, who is a student of JNU and a student of AU also, the regional employment officer, who has dwelt on some of these aspects already. And of course, good friend and wonderful human being and an academic, Professor Sheetal Salma from the Center for European Studies, JNU. And of course, our friends here, Sheikh Suleiman, who is doing excellent work here in the department and elsewhere, and a lot of work for the colleges and universities in AP and elsewhere, and Nagarjuna, and then Haribabu and Satyanarayana, and all the friends here who have been working to organize this seminar and many other programs in the department. So coming to the seminar and the topic and all that, before that, firstly, I have to pay my gratitude and reverence to the great teachers of this department. Premanandam mentioned about the founder of the History, Economics and Politics and Administration Department, Venkatrange Garu. And there are several others who have done human service in this department, like Srinivasan Garu, who became the Director General of IIPA, Jagannathan Garu, who became the Deputy Director of IIPA, Delhi, and then R.B.R. Chandrasekhar Rao Garu, who is the founder of this Department of Political Science and Public Administration, who was the Vice Chancellor of AP Open University and the Director of Asian Studies of Distance Learning of the Commonwealth, and Professor Venkateswara Garu, Professor Prasanna Kumar Garu, Raghav Garu was the Vice Chancellor of Nagarjuna University, and who was with the ASCII. So there are several extraordinarily great teachers, to all of whom I bow my head and pay my reverence. Having said that, I have divided my time very carefully. మీరు 15 నిమిషాలు భరించాలి నన్ను, అంతకంటే ఎక్కువ భరించమని అడగను. So 15 minutes is my target. First, let me focus on democracy, then on diversity, and then change. You must know that the total period of democratic existence in this world, అంటే డెమోక్రసీస్ ఈ వరల్డ్లో ఎన్నాళ్ళ నుంచి ఉన్నాయి అని అంటే, ఈస్ 450 years only, maybe a few years this way, that way. Right from the inception of human history, మనిషి యొక్క మనుగడ ప్రారంభించినప్పటి నుంచి డెమోక్రసీ అనేది 450 ఏళ్లే ఉంది. రెస్ట్ ఈస్ monarchy, oligarchy, kingship, dictatorships, authoritarian systems, etc., etc. Luckily now we have about 68 democracies, good or bad, with all their weaknesses. At least they call themselves democracies out of 167 nations that we have, or more. So that's the situation about democracy. Democracy గురించి చెప్పాలంటే అది. And then ఇది ఎలా ప్రారంభమైంది ఏంటి అని అంటే, యూ హ్యావ్ ఎ వెరీ బిగ్ హిస్టరీ, రైట్ ఫ్రమ్ సాక్రటీస్ అండ్ ఏథెన్స్ ఇన్ గ్రీస్. బట్ దాని ఎగ్జిస్టెన్స్ ఆఫ్ ఏథెన్స్ వాజ్ ఆల్సో వాట్ షార్ట్ లివ్డ్. స్పార్టా destroyed it in the Peloponnesian War, and democracy once for all went away from Europe for a very, very long time, until later after the Industrial Revolution, when the Huttite revolts and anti-industrial revolts happened in England, and there was this Magna Carta where peasants and commoners demanded civil rights and rule of law. And then, of course, the French Revolution, which brought in the ideas of liberty and equality. Great thinkers like Rousseau and Locke, and then J.S. Mill and so many else. Condorcet, who in fact argued that democracy is the most rational system. Things like that. చాలా ఆలోచన పరులు రకరకాలుగా ఆలోచించి డెమోక్రసీ అనే భావాన్ని పెంచారు. దే నర్చర్డ్ ఇట్ అండ్ ఇంప్రూవ్డ్ ఇట్స్ మోడల్. సో హౌ డస్ యూరప్ ఫిట్ ఇన్ టు దిస్ అని అంటే, యూరప్ నర్చర్డ్ డెమోక్రసీ, experimented with a vast variety of democratic practices. స్విట్జర్లాండ్లో డైరెక్ట్ డెమోక్రసీ కానీ, రీకాల్ కానీ, ఇలాంటి మోడల్స్ కానీ, వెల్ఫేర్ స్టాటిజం దట్ ఎగ్జిస్ట్ ఇన్ స్కాండినేవియన్ కంట్రీస్ కానీ, ఆర్ ది ఫ్రెంచ్ మోడల్ ఆఫ్ presidential model, or the English model, where you have a constitution and you don't have it, essentially based on conventions and traditions. So ilaga democracy evolved over a period of time from in different areas. అయితే ఇక్కడ మీకు రెండు ఇంపార్టెంట్ ఆస్పెక్ట్స్, రెండు ఐడియాస్ మాత్రం చెప్పదలుచుకున్నాను. ఎలక్షన్స్ ఉంటేనే డెమోక్రసీ కాదు. ఎలక్షన్స్ ఆర్ అన్ ఎసెన్షియల్ పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ డెమోక్రసీ. దేర్ ఆర్ గ్రేట్ థింకర్స్ హూ హ్యావ్ డిస్కస్డ్ ది ఐడియా ఆఫ్ డెమోక్రసీ, అండ్ వాళ్ళు ఏమన్నారంటే, దేర్ ఇస్ వాట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ అస్ ప్రోటో డెమోక్రసీ ఆర్ మినిమలిస్ట్ డెమోక్రసీ. You only have elections, nothing else. You don't have a free press, you don't have a free judiciary. The parliament works but doesn't work. So the executive is everything. So idi democracy. That also is democracy. But functionally, it does not really bring in rights and freedoms for people. So that also is a democracy. That's called a minimalist democracy, where you can change the government. Nothing much more. And proto-democracy is essentially embryonic democracies that are emerging. They're trying to learn, create new laws, etc., etc. But they have a lot of obstacles. They are still trying. They are in their infancy. ఇంకా చిన్నగా ఎదుగుతున్నాయి అన్నమాట. So where does our democracy fit in? చాలా మెచ్యూర్ డెమోక్రసీ, బ్రహ్మాండమైన డెమోక్రసీ అనగలం అంటే, I think there are very few like that in the world. Even British democracy has its faults, so does French, and so does the American democracy and Indian democracy. So we are learning. We are not yet 100 years old. We will be 19 2047, as 2047, but we are still learning. And in the learning process, you go forward and you go backward. Both things happen. ముందుకి పైకి నడిచే వాళ్ళు నడుస్తూ నడుస్తూ పడుతూ ఉంటారు కదా. Those who learn walking fall often, and it's only by walking more that you can learn how to walk. So just because you fall a few times does not mean that you should not walk or you cannot walk. So it is ultimately the choice of the people, the will of the people, the determination and love for democracy and freedom of the people that determines and brings in the strength of a democracy. So democracy success అవ్వాలంటే ఒక చాలా బ్రహ్మాండమైన సేయింగ్ ఉంది ఒకటి ఏంటంటే, the tree of liberty is nurtured with the blood of tyrants and freedom fighters. So if you want freedom and liberty, you have to oppose authoritarianism and dictatorships, and at the same time sacrifice if necessary. So that's what it demands. Eternal vigilance, constant vigilance is the price of democracy. That's what you need. So idi in short about democracy. Then diversity. Diversity చూసినప్పుడు, when we are looking at diversity, Europe and India have several things in common. They are 27 states, we are 28 states. Well, countries 27, we are 28 states. And then, but of course, their population is just 440 million odd. And as far as religious diversity is concerned, they also have differences. Different types of Protestantism, Catholicism, Orthodoxy, Islam, and other localized religions, etc., etc. They coexist. But in India, it's much, much larger. Languages, I mean, you have 14 official languages, but there are more than 1,650 languages that are spoken, and several of them have alphabet, I mean, written forms. There are others which do not have written forms but are spoken, and there are umpteen number of religions. Possibly several of them have emerged in India. They have risen here, and both ways, religion was spread through force and through peaceful means in this country. So coexistence has become a habit, rather, after a very prolonged time of history. Europe is learning it and has learned it. So in fact, it's the other way around. Europe has and can learn a lot from India in terms of coexistence. And we can learn a lot from Europe in terms of their democratic practices. So this is something that we can share between ourselves. And apart from this, there are several dimensions to culture. The cuisine that we have, that they have, that we share with them. అంటే మన తినే ఆహార పదార్థాలు, తినే వండుకునే వంటకాలు, వాళ్ళ ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ మన మీద ఉంది, మన ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ వాళ్ళ మీద ఉంది. సో both ways, it's moving this way, that way. So diversity has been a cornerstone of India's culture, and it has been a cornerstone of European culture. Multiculturalism is being supported in Europe, and multilingualism is something that is common. Okay, everybody knows at least 3-4 languages. There is war. People tend to go to safer places. అంటే యుద్ధం జరుగుతుంటే యుద్ధం నుంచి దూరంగా జరిగి మంచిగా ఉన్న ప్లేసులకు వెళ్తాం మనం. So that's what is happening, and Europe used to welcome a lot of refugees, but it so happened that some of them at least were not accepting their law or something like that. They had problems, and local population was opposing immigrants. So there is some diversity of opinion with regard to accepting refugees and immigrants in Europe. That's the recent trend. But by and large, Europe has been a haven for refugees from several oppressed countries. So, and then when it comes to other aspects like change, the third dimension I would like to discuss. Just ఈ మూడు మీకు ఊరికే పిక్చర్ ఇస్తున్నాను అంతే. కొద్దిగా ఈ లాస్ట్ కాస్త భరించండి, ఇది చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్ అని నా ఉద్దేశం. ది ర్యాపిడిటీ ఆఫ్ చేంజ్ ఎంత ఫాస్ట్ గా జరుగుతుందంటే ఊహకందనంట. అంటే యూ జస్ట్ కెనాట్ కాంటెంప్లేట్ ది ర్యాపిడిటీ ఆఫ్ చేంజ్. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, ఐ జస్ట్ మెన్షన్ వన్. In the 1970s, the rate of doubling of human knowledge, అంటే మనిషికి ఉన్నటువంటి మొత్తం విజ్ఞానం డబుల్ అయ్యేది. 1970 చూసినట్టయితే ఎవ్రీ 15 years, 15 ఏళ్ళకు ఒకసారి డబుల్ అవుతుంది నాలెడ్జ్. By 90s it was 3 years. Now they say it is, the change that's happening in technology and science is so rapid that it is less than 3 months. 3 నెలలకి నీ నాలెడ్జ్ డబుల్ అయిపోతుంది. your పాత నాలెడ్జ్ is becoming obsolete or it's being enhanced. Now AI is going to take over. ఆర్టిఫిషియల్ ఇంటెలిజెన్స్ మన జీవితాలని మొత్తాన్ని కూడా పూర్తిగా సంపూర్ణంగా గ్రౌండ్ నుంచి ఇట్స్ గోయింగ్ టు షేక్ అండ్ చేంజ్. ఇట్స్ అన్ ఎర్త్క్వేక్ దట్ ఈస్ ఇన్ ది ఆఫింగ్. సో చాలా కాంప్లసెంట్, ఎవ్రీబడి ఈస్ కాంప్లసెంట్, ఎవ్రీబడి థింక్స్ నథింగ్ ఈస్ గోయింగ్ టు హ్యాపెన్, బట్ దట్స్ నాట్ ద కేస్. దెర్ ఇస్ అ బ్యూటిఫుల్ బుక్ కాల్డ్ బ్లాక్ స్వాన్. అంటే అందరూ ఏమనుకుంటారు, హంసలు అంటే తెల్లగా ఉంటాయి. If somebody is asked what a swan looks like, they say it's white. But there are black swans. That's the reality. So the norm, we are accustomed to living a certain type of life. ఇలాగే నడుస్తుంది అనుకునేటటువంటి ఒక తత్వం మనలో ఉంటుంది. కానీ సడన్ గా అది మారిపోవచ్చు, టోటల్ గా చేంజ్ అయిపోవచ్చు. సో a total change, a paradigmatic shift in the way we live, in the way we look at the world and understand the world, is called a black swan. You can call it a black swan. It's something you didn't expect to happen, and it can happen. That's what is going to happen with technology and AI in the coming decade. అదేళ్లలో వచ్చే మార్పులవి. So if you are not prepared to accept adaptability, లేకపోతే ఎవరు డార్విన్ చెప్పిన సిద్ధాంతం దగ్గర నుంచి, if you cannot adapt, you perish. If you do not adapt and change, you die. You don't survive. So that is what is happening, and adaptation is the best tool we can take to in order to survive into the future. So నాకు తెలుస్తుంది, నాకే కష్టంగా ఉంది ఇక్కడ మాట్లాడడం, అంటే ఉన్న పరిస్థితి వల్ల. సో థ్యాంక్ యూ ఫర్ గివింగ్ మీ దిస్ బ్యూటిఫుల్ ఆపర్చునిటీ. నేను రెండే విషయాలు చెప్పదలుచుకున్నాను యంగ్స్టర్స్ అందరికి. ఆల్ ది యంగ్స్టర్స్, ఐ కాల్ అపాన్ యూ టు tell you two things. One, please keep reading books. And then online, there are several courses. AI courses are there on Coursera and several online offers of knowledge. Please take those courses. They are not costly, they are cheap, they are very reasonable. Take those courses and adapt to change. Thank you.
Thank you once again. I thank all the students for public education and political science. So with this, we conclude this international seminar session. Now, only foreign students come out on the dais to have a photograph. Please, foreign student, please come. Mark, Feroz.
సార్ అయ్యన సార్ ఫోన్ సార్ కొంచెం
Audio Jungle.